Hi, I'm Christine Yount-Jones with Children's Ministry Magazine, and you're listening or watching the childrensministry.com podcast. And I have here with me my dear friend, here are all my dear friends, Becky Manny. And Becky is this whiz-bang, amazing editorial director for all of our curriculum. And she is able to lead a team that is so gifted and produce so much stuff that I just really am in awe of your skills and your abilities. But one thing that I love most about Becky is her heart for the church. And specifically, I want to talk with her about Living Inside Out, because I know that Living Inside Out is as much her heart as anything that we do. So Living Inside Out, tell me about what is it, and why, well, first of all, why are we creating Living Inside Out curriculum?
Well, we had heard from the marketplace that a lot of churches, for space reasons or staffing reasons, whatever, were finding that they needed to use a large group, small group format. And so we decided that we really needed to create one of those that would solve a lot of the volunteer problems. And also some of the ones that had been created in the past depended on very large volunteer organizations. And we knew that that was another cry in the market, was that we don't have volunteers. So the basic idea was, let's create a large group, small group format curriculum that solves some of those problems. The beauty about Living Inside Out is that you get to plug in to the children's ministry in the area that really is your passion and your giftedness. So someone who loves to be in front of a big group and sing and dance and be the stage personality, loves to be the large group leader. Someone who really wants to shepherd a small group of children and build relationships with just those 4, 5, 6 children can do that also and still be involved and not feel like they have to be responsible for the entire thing. It also gave people an opportunity to volunteer even if they couldn't be there on Sunday. So they could maybe collect supplies on the weekend or on the weekdays. They could, in other ways, support the ministry but not have to be there for the entire thing. So
I love it. I love it, actually, and I think you know this, but my favorite model for Christian education is large group, small group. I love it. I think everything that you talked about, plus it enables you to wow in the large group and then have that very relational connect in the small group. And I have to tell you that I'm not a good small group leader. I mean,
that surprises me.
It's not that I don't love kids. I love kids, but I'm not good with discipline. I'm kind of a pushover, and so I get frustrated, and I don't enjoy it. So that's not a good place for me. And if you make me a classroom teacher, then I'm having to deal with discipline and getting the craft going. And that's why I teach 2-year-olds, because there aren't really very many discipline issues. But I love to be the large group teacher.
Right.
I love that. I love communicating truth, and I love being creative, and I love seeing kids making those discoveries with the things that we give them through Living Inside Out. And I don't like to lead worship.
Right.
So I love that somebody else does that. So this is really a place where I find satisfaction and I want to keep serving.
Right.
Rather than, okay, that fried me.
Right.
And I did not have fun. I did not sense the blessing of God. And so that's what I feel like you guys do with the Living Inside Out curriculum, is to maximize mine and everyone else's specific gifts.
And that's what we've heard from a lot of our customers, is that when people get plugged in where their gifts are and where they feel fulfilled, and they actually see the results of what they're doing and feel fulfilled from that, you don't have any more volunteer problems. They'll wait in line. The building off the energy in the large group with praise and worship and that video story or the skit that week, you really build off all those kids in one room, and it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you break down into small groups, and you get that one-on-one with a shepherd who will reinforce that lesson they heard in large group and build that relationship with them. They have a Bible memory maker that they interact with every week, then take home, just kind of like the Bible buddies that we did in VBS, so that they take something home that reinforces that Bible memory in their minds too. So there's a lot of the elements that are in a typical classroom situation, but the format is very, very different and fits a niche and a need in a certain marketplace.
Absolutely. And I will affirm that because when I was overseeing a children's ministry at a church here in town, we did large group, small group, and we could rotate our large group leaders, but we had the same small group leaders week in and week out, and those people stayed year after year after year because they were the people who must like discipline.
They just love the kids.
And they love loving on those kids. So it is a very sustainable model.
Right.
The other thing that we're hearing, and I don't remember stats, but tell me if you agree with this, is it's probably the fastest growing ministry model in children's ministry right now. Would you agree with that?
Yes. When we started looking at it several years ago, it was about 30% of the market, and I would say probably over 40% of the market now is moving to that model because it's easy to sustain. Mm-hmm. It doesn't demand a lot of space and room issues or volunteer problems. So they do. I taught large group, small group before I came to group as the editorial director, and found that people fell in love with their kids and wanted to take them from kindergarten to 6th grade. Yeah. So it's very, very sustainable.
It's so ideal. And talk to me about themes. I know we were in a conversation the other day where we said, you know what? It's almost like you can have VBS, the quality of VBS with the themes and the media and the object lessons and that whole experience every Sunday. So, and part of that is themes. Talk to me about how we use themes in Living Inside Out.
The kids, we realized, were so tied into those themes in VBS and the decorations and the songs that went with them. And we also found that integrating that into the scripture lesson is very much what they're doing in the public schools too, is integrating all of their curriculums into certain themes. So this way they have a new theme each month. We take the 13 weeks and divide it into 3 different sets of themes. There's lots of decorating. We have posters and all kinds of things that go with them. And they have all of their lessons tied into that theme, and then their Bible memory maker and their music. It's all reinforced over and over and over.
Give me some themes. What are some of your favorite themes?
Oh, Arctic Antics. We did one on spelunkers. We have some coming up, Schooner Island. We have the Big Dig. Each quarter, we try to put in quite a variety so that we attract boys and girls and young kids and older kids. The lessons are broken into preschool, lower elementary, upper elementary. So even in your small groups, you could have some multi-age groups of kids, and they work in those small groups within those themes each quarter, and it just seems to work.
Yeah, and one thing I really love about Living Inside Out too is it's amazing video. Now, there's not a video every time, but there's enough that it keeps kids interested and attracted. Yeah. It's not a video-based curriculum, but everything that we do on video has been so above and beyond in quality with Living Inside Out. So kudos to your team.
Well, thank you.
And the video people, too. So talk to me about your heart, because I know that you're passionate about Living Inside Out. Why is that?
I'm passionate because I grew up in the church and realized what children's curriculum did for my life personally, and had I not had the Bible stories in my heart, junior high and high school could have been really, really rough. And then as a children's pastor myself, I realized that there were just a lot of obstacles to trying to do Sunday morning service, and it keeps coming. Every Sunday keeps coming, and I felt like I needed to be new and different, and I was competing with video games and a lot of the other outside activities. So I knew that when I came to group and we started talking about creating large group, small group, we needed to be just as colorful and exciting and up to date and musical and all of those things, but as well as ease of use. So everything is in the box. It's tailored to that volunteer's strengths, and it hooks the kids. They get really hooked on those themes and the music, and it's able to compete with a lot of those outside things that we see in our culture today.
Yeah, and you know what? I read an article about the things that you talked about with needing multimedia, needing eye-catching thing, needing lots of things that switch because of their attention spans and kind of the bells and whistles of children's ministry to reach today's kids. And we had that posted on childrensministry.com, and actually someone's comment made me sad because she said, I'm a little church. And I understand that all of that is necessary, but I can't do that. And as you were talking, I thought, yes, she can.
Yeah.
It's living inside out.
That's right.
Because it's affordable and everything's in there, and it's not, it doesn't take a large church.
No.
Any size church can do all the things that you've talked about.
Yes, it isn't a large group model. It's definitely tailored. You can use it in large groups, large church, but you can also use it in a small church, and it makes you look good because it's all right there and it's very easy to do.
And I love that because I think that's at the heart of our team is we want to make that children's minister shine.
Yes.
We want to make that teacher, that large group leader, that small group leader shine, and they never see what's behind the curtain.
Right.
But they just see, wow, I'm loving Jesus and I'm loving the experience here. So I just want to thank you for what you do leading that amazing team to create, I almost said Faith Weaver, Living Inside Out, Faith Weaver, Buzz, Hands-on Bible Curriculum, but you guys do an amazing job, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you've been watching the childrensministry.com podcast. We're going to give you a URL at the end so you can check out Living Inside Out and see if that's the right curriculum that you need to use for your church. Thanks for listening today.